A dominating season has come to a halt for Jeremy McGrath. The future was clouded with a practice crash at Millville, his first real injury during the season playing on his mind as he faced two motos on the pounding, sandy track. The ankle and foot pain making shifting difficult, McGrath, a 9th and 7th place finish, found a 47-point lead dwindle to just 23. A bridesmaid most of the season, number 2 Jeff Emig now has a legitimate shot at his first 250 title. Emig's confidence has mushroomed as McGrath, with a week off, had time to recover. It's all coming up next. Art Ekman and David Bailey. And David, it seems like every time we're saying record crowds, but these great fans here in Washougal, Washington, actually, some of them waited an hour and a half on the highway before getting into the track. Jeff Emig now with 3 wins on the season after the Millville experience. It was his first sweep. He's ready to go. Will riders like Larocco or Damon Bradshaw, number 28, have something to say about it?
Well, Brian Hughes and Phil Lawrence coming off their best finishes ever at Millville, 2nd and 3rd ever in the 250 class. See right there the concentration on McGrath's face. There's no way he's completely recovered in my mind. He's going to be in some pain today, and he knows it's going to be a long, tough day, especially with the starts Emig's been getting lately. He's got his work cut out.
Jeremy telling me that he's going to be a little timid putting that left leg out there. Earlier we got the rival's mindset before coming into today's race.
I don't think I've really lost confidence. I mean, I know that I can win, and I think everyone else does. You know, it's just a matter of being injured. It's one of those things. You know, I tried probably a stupid thing, at Millville, and tried to jump up on that tabletop and come up short, and felt like my darn foot fell off. So, I've been on the recovery for the last 2 weeks. I've been to the doctor every day at, Dr. Toy. He's been doing a great job with my foot, and, it's just a matter of time. There's only so much you can do.
I've noticed a whole lot of intensity in the fans, and everybody's all, you can do it, you can get them, and all this. I mean, all that's fine and dandy, and I am down a few points. And like if I was, 1 or 2 points behind, then it would be, something that we were really thinking about. But right now we're just thinking about winning.
The focus is on winning as Jeremy McGrath with only a 23-point lead. Emig coming off a 1-1 in the last event, and Larocco has been racing well. So has Greg Albertine.
Although Brian Swink has been a little inconsistent this year at times, he's still putting together a pretty good performance, running out in the top 5.
All the bikes, it's get nervous time now at the gate. Almost set to go here in Moto 1 from Washougal, Washington. Jeremy getting out of the gate pretty well. Greg Albertine also, but it is number 2. Who else but Jeff Emig, the whole shot king this year, getting into the top position early.
Drifts a little wide off that jump, protects his line into that right-hander. Doesn't want to let anybody get up to the inside of him, especially with Jeremy back there.
Jeremy's in 2nd place as he passes Kyle Lewis, number 11. This is Lewis is one of his favorite tracks, really, after a 3rd overall last year. His best finish in the Nationals on the 250s. David, it's got to be a psychological advantage for number 2 Jeff Emig to get that whole shot.
Well, the first few times you get a whole shot, you may be a little nervous, but Jeff's gotten so many this year that he's not worried about it anymore. He's been able to win races, and he's not, I don't think, intimidated as much as he used to be by having Jeremy McGrath on his rear tail. He probably doesn't even know that's him yet. As soon as he glances back there and sees him, I'm thinking it'll make him as nervous as he used to get.
Jeremy McGrath in good position. Can he hold up physically? That's the question here in Moto number 1 as he has the 2nd place pretty well nailed down. Emig running fast on this track.
A little bit like Brock Glover used to be. So quick in the early laps. He's obviously gotten out of the gate strong, but look at the little bit of a lead he's already got now over Jeremy. It's important to get out there and not only get the whole shot, but put together the first 2 or 3 laps. Real strong, break away from the competition, force them to catch up to you. Once you get that breathing room, you can ride a little bit more relaxed, too.
The battle for 3rd now, Kyle Lewis, along with Greg Albertine. There you see them. Albertine putting the pressure, looking for a way to get around Kyle Lewis.
Well, he put a lot of pressure on Lewis going in there. Lewis just didn't crack, though. He held the inside line. Looks like Albertine may be a little bit faster of the 2 at the moment. Lewis, as he pointed out, had a good run here last year and obviously comfortable on this racetrack. Albertine giving him all he can take, but Lewis still hanging on to it, and all these guys are still pretty close. Emig right there.
Into the whoop section. Whoa, Lewis having problems. Greg Albertine moving into third place. That whoop section can really eat you alive.
On the first lap of this moto, you can see in some spots they put a little bit of water on the racetrack. That makes it slick, so if you get a little bit offline or out of balance and lean to one side or the other, that back end starts to squirt away from you. That's what happens.
Traction has always been a problem in tire selection for Washougal. It looks very smooth and good dirt on top, but underneath it's slick.
Oh, it's so hard packed. That jump right there is where Emig went down last year chasing McGrath. Went down hard, down there on his hands and knees for a while.
It was a great rivalry here last year between these two. Jeff Emig is our leader. Jeremy McGrath, Greg Albertine. Oh, the scene is set. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to our first moto in Washougal, Washington. The battle is on. Emig now starting to pull a little bit of a lead on Jeremy McGrath. McGrath's got problems of his own right now.
Well, every time he gets to a left-hander, that's for sure a problem. Here he's coming into a tight left-hander, and he's got Albertine breathing down his neck. Greg is so fast, especially fast in the beginning of the race. Usually Jeremy's strength, but I don't think he's 100% right now, and he's got to ride a little bit defensive, and that's going to let Emig pull away.
All kinds of room on this track for a possible pass as Albertine tries to set up on Jeremy McGrath.
As long as he stays this close to Jeremy, that will bother him. There's another left-hander. You can see Jeremy bobble just a little bit. They didn't lose a lot of speed, but you can see he's affected by it.
Albertine shows him a wheel going into that tight corner, and a get off now for McGrath.
Looked to me like Albertine just forced him to go a little bit wide there. Jeremy was starting to cut back across into his line, and Albertine was already there, hit his front wheel, and that's what caused Jeremy to go down. So,
and now he's got number 8, Mike LaRocco, breathing down his back.
Yeah, it's going to be a long day for Jeremy. I've ridden in pain, and one guy after another starts challenging you where you normally aren't in that situation, and you have to adapt. Meanwhile, in the back of your mind, you know that your points lead's slipping away because Emig's out front, and it's going to be a tough day for him. But if he can hang on to a top 3 or 4 position here, that'll give him a lot of confidence going into the second moto.
And give him more time for healing next week. McGrath and LaRocco battling it out now for third as Emig has a 3-second lead on Greg Albertine. Time for our Suzuki Flashback.
And this week it's 1984 right here in Washougal. And for the drop of the gate, the 250 National, it's number 7, Ron Lachine, and number 17, Rick Johnson in a battle for the title. In between them was number 2, Mark Barnett. You had to go all the way back to 1984 to find a Yamaha that was still yellow. Johnson locked in a battle with Lachine for most of the first moto. Lachine kept the pressure on, but it wasn't enough. He had to pass Rick Johnson and Mark Barnett. His mechanic, Chris Hayne, puts on probably the biggest pit board in the history of the sport, must get Barnett. Lachine kept the hammer down, chasing Barnett in the later stages of the moto under pressure from Bob Hanna. Lose the front end in one of the thick powder berms here in the back section going down, effectively handing the title over to Rick Johnson. So for Johnson, he went on to win many titles, becoming one of the sport's legends, won his first title in 1984 right here in Washougal.
'84 is strikingly similar to this year, David.
Well, it could be if Jeremy keeps slipping back, losing points to Emig, and Emig keeps staying out front and getting the starts that he does. It could come down to the last race just as it did in '84.
Jeremy McGrath currently in third place, trying to hold back Mike LaRocco. And LaRocco looks like he's dialed into that Suzuki right now.
He's been riding better and better. It's just lately he's been getting a little bit better starts than he has in the past, more consistently, and he's riding aggressive.
LaRocco to the outside, gets the edge on Jeremy McGrath going through the left-hander.
You can see how slick it was, too, coming out of that corner. He gassed it early in the berm, and the bike just washed out, but he had good enough balance and anticipated that, and he's able to deal with it.
LaRocco running strong in third.
He's on the move. He may be able to go up and catch Albertine. Going fast enough, there's plenty of time, and remember, he's always, just like John Dowd, a strong finisher towards the end of the race, and you hear the crowd going nuts. They're seeing a good battle right here, and for Emig out front, you can hear that crowd when you're riding. He knows something's going on back there behind him.
Jeff Emig, our leader, number 2, has not given an inch. In fact, he's pulled several inches, if not feet. Out in front. So far, Greg Albertine has not gotten close enough to really feel the pressure.
Although Emig has been out front so far, it doesn't look to me like, especially through that little switchback section, that his lines are really coming together. It looked like he's kind of outside when he wanted to be inside, and we'll just keep an eye on that. But right now, Albertine's definitely keeping the pressure on him, and if he gets any closer, Emig's going to have a real battle.
It's Emig and Albertine looking like the battle forming up front. Mike LaRocco, Jeremy McGrath, and Lewis in fifth. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Davey Coombs from Washougal Motocross Park, Washougal, Washington. Out in front, Jeff Emig, but it is no ride in the park out there, as Greg Albertine now is making sure to get a little mix-up here in second place.
He wants another moto win, another overall win to add to his one in Unadilla. He's going fast enough. He's caught Jeff Emig. And as I pointed out, I think Emig in spots, maybe his lines aren't just coming together just right for him. And he's got the speed. He's riding aggressive enough, but Albertine's going faster somewhere. And if Albertine was to get around, it might not be a bad idea for Emig to figure out what he's doing better and maybe get him back towards the end.
LaRocco in third. Jeremy McGrath, though, now feeling the heat from Ryan Hughes. And what an interesting team situation this could turn out to be.
Well, if Hughes can get around him, that's going to drop Jeremy back in the points, help out his teammate Emig.
Let's go down to Davey Coombs in the pits, who's with Ryan's mechanic. Davey.
Wyatt, I know that Ryan's in fifth. He's moving up on Jeremy McGrath. For the good of the team, is this one of those, I got to get Jeremy?
Yeah, he knows he needs to get Jeremy, like you said, for the good of the team. You know, Jeff needs all the help he can in points. And, man, we got a bad start, but he's got a really good pace going. So just got to keep my fingers crossed. He keeps it, keeps it going and gets Jeremy and maybe even get LaRocco.
Riding with courage and grit right now, Jeremy McGrath.
He's going to have, as I pointed out, a tough day. You can see already Ryan is on his tail. Seems inevitable he's going to get around or force Jeremy to another mistake and one of those left-handers. And here comes Bradshaw. He's coming strong, putting pressure on both of them. Looks like he'll probably be able to get around too, which Jeremy knows. He's doing the math in his head. He knows he's going to lose a lot of points.
Here comes Hughes. Easy pass in the whoops. So you know something's bothering Jeremy on that left foot. In fact, you can tell the different styles when they take left turns together. Just doesn't extend that foot out there, take any chances. Right here is another left-handed turn, and he just kind of breezed it off the bike.
Every time you dab that foot down, it hurts. It's all taped up, and there's a lot of pain. It probably at certain parts of the race, it doesn't bother him too much until you land really hard off a jump or you have to smack it down on the ground and keep your balance. Then you feel it.
And, of course, Bradshaw right now smelling blood.
Yeah, he's going for it. He wants to get up there and finish out the season. He's kind of had an off season. I think people expected a little bit more from Damon. I'm sure he expected more from himself, and here's a chance to close out the season pretty good and beat Jeremy and get in there and maybe pick up an overall win.
Bradshaw on the outside has an easy time of it. Jeremy tries to cut back in, but just doesn't have that power and the angle.
There's the difference. Now you can really get an idea of how physical this sport is. It takes so much strength. You have to be so healthy and flexible and confidence, everything that goes into being a good rider and earning that #1 plate. If one of those components is missing, this is what happens.
Jeremy now in danger of losing valuable points here in the first moto to Jeff Emig, who is our leader right now. We're looking back at Ryan Hughes, who's done a marvelous job coming up through the pack.
One of the faster sections as they drop back down to the bottom. Watch Bradshaw's line to the outside.
Bradshaw! Oh, what a move on Ryan Hughes!
He's been doing that the whole time, using that outside line, and what a fantastic line. He just laid it over and drug the handlebar through there. Surprised Ryan Hughes. Little whip for the fans right there. Bradshaw's feeling it. The crowd is into it.
Well, the crowd is so close to this great track as it weaves around the Cascade Mountains. Here's Jeff Emig, our leader. Boy, he's got to be pumped right now. Does he know what McGrath's situation is when he goes by the mechanics area?
I'm not sure if they're putting it on the board. I think probably his first concern right now is Greg Albertine. If he can ever get rid of him, towards the end of the race, he's got a little bit of time to look over there and read what they put on the board. They will let him know the point situation, where Jeremy is, and that'll help him feel a little bit better out there.
Albertine being a real pest for Jeff Emig right now, who has bigger and better things on his mind, like a championship in the 250 class.
As long as he holds his line, doesn't make any mistakes, he's going fast right now. I don't see any place where Albertine's any faster, but definitely as fast, keeping the pressure on. A little mistake right there in that corner. Mistakes like that, if you make them enough, frequently enough, that will eventually cause you to lose time. But he's a little bit faster than Emig in spots. Whenever he does make a mistake like that, he's able to close back up. So as long as Emig doesn't make a major mistake, he should be able to hang on to the lead.
Albertine certainly, though, giving him a push there in second place. Emig, Albertine, Larocco, Bradshaw, and Hughes are top 5. For only 2 years.
Kind of a deal that Wrangler sponsored, and that's where the whole blue and yellow #1 plate came from.
That was back in the days you had 3 different divisions, the 500 cc's as well as the 250s and 125s.
Right, I actually wrapped up that title in '84 here at Washougal. Jeff Ward and I were kind of going at it, and I won it by 7 points. Ward was in the 125 class that year. It just happened to be whoever got the most points for the season won the title.
Mike Larocco in 3rd place. That was kind of a friendly rivalry for you, wasn't it, Jeff Ward?
It wasn't that day. We both really wanted that title. It was the first time anybody could ever carry that blue #1 plate, and fortunately I was the one that ended up getting it. But yeah, Jeff and I always had a lot of respect for each other, except for one time in Daytona when I accidentally knocked him down. He still gives me a little grief over that.
Hughes and Jeremy McGrath. McGrath starting to pick it up a bit.
He better. He's really watching points disappear, and he doesn't want Hughes. I mean, these guys are all friends. Hughes, Emig, Jeremy, and Jeremy's trying to hang on to a title here, something he's worked so hard for all year, and now because of an injury, he's in a fight, losing points, and now he sees his friend Ryan helping out Jeff Emig, his teammate. He has to do it. And Jeremy doesn't want it to happen.
Oh, Jeremy McGrath in the same corner. That left-handed turn goes down again.
There goes Phil Lawrence, the lap rider there. Brian Swink goes around. Larry Ward, he's going to lose a lot of position. He's got to balance on that injured foot while he's trying to start the motorcycle. So
a bad break for Jeremy McGrath and his chances for a title.
So now Ryan Hughes has done his job. He forced Jeremy to ride a little bit beyond his comfort zone, ended up going down. That's going to give even more points to Jeff Emig now. So it's looking good for Kawasaki today so far.
McGrath back up and running. What a great competitor he is. The target of every other challenge for the last 4 seasons. He now has his sights set on someone else. Time for our Honda riding tip. Skip Norfolk.
Properly maintaining your brake system doesn't just mean replace your brake pads when they wear out. You want to keep good, clean, quality fluid in your system at all times. You also need to keep your front brake lever and your rear brake pedal greased so they move freely and do not stick in any position. For the Honda 1-800-COLLECT Fox Racing Team, I'm Skip Norfolk.
Back to the action. The 2-lap board has been up, and it is Jeff Emig, our leader. He's dominated this race, and of course he's had all kinds of help, but Jeremy McGrath has slipped now out of the top 5 down to 9th position.
He will be happy to find that out if he does see it on the pit board. Like I said, he does have a little breathing room now on Greg Albertine. He's opened it up little by little. Mistake-free, his lines have come together. It's going to feel good winning this and to know that he's moved that much closer to the title.
Jeff Emig, once he leaves these whoops, he'll be seeing the white flag. And there's Wes McCoy, team manager for Honda. Oh, and Greg Albertine has gone completely off the track. He was in 2nd place. Oh, my goodness. This will cost him more time, more points, and what a jolt trying to get back over that fence.
That may have been a worse crash than what got him there in the first place. Got a lot of help from the fans. I don't know what the ruling is on that. I guess he's in a situation where, watch him, he's going to try to pop a wheelie with the front end over that fence, but he just gets a lot of wheel spin.
That's a high fence to try to get over, and of course he found out the hard way.
Yeah, I don't think there's any problem with people helping him get out of that situation. There's no other way.
Jeff Emig looking for victory. While Jeremy McGrath is still in 9th, Albertine was able to get up and run in 8 spots. So McGrath wasn't able to pick up any points with that mishap. But Albertine crashing out of 2nd place as we watch the final lap with Jeff Emig.
Now Emig's left with a huge lead. The only challenge he got the whole race was in the very beginning from Jeremy. Not much of a challenge, though. And then Albertine stayed close for a while, kept him honest. It's probably a good thing for Jeff. Keep that fire lit under him and force him to try real hard and open up a big lead.
LaRocco, a lonely second-place rider now with Albertine going out, and Bradshaw has moved up to third because of that accident. The last turn through the whoops for Jeff Emig. He has his mind set on his 6th moto win of the year, and if Jeremy McGrath stays in the current position he's in, that would cut the lead to 11 points. We'll be back to see the order of things in a moment. After Moto 1, Jeff Emig, Mike LaRocco, Damon Bradshaw, the top 3. Still, we don't see Jeremy McGrath's name until we get down to 9th place. Davey Coombs has moved over now toward Jeff Emig, and let's get his thoughts.
All right, Jeff, another perfect moto. You got closer.
Well, it's perfect to you guys, but I was on the bike, and it was less than perfect if you were me. Outside of my finish, I just didn't feel, real comfortable, and Albie was really pushing me in those spots, and I had to ride a lot harder than what I wanted to that moto, that's for sure.
With the big picture now, were you aware of where McGrath was in that moto?
No, I just worried about winning motos because, either way, I want to win the overall here, at Washougal, and the Kawasaki with Bridgestone tires, once again got me out to a great start, and I felt good, but I just didn't feel as smooth as what I know that I can ride, and I made little mistakes here and there. I was really feeling the pressure from Albie. He must have really been pushing.
So the dramatic points race continues here in the 250s at Washougal. We'll be back with the all-important Moto 2 in just a moment. What's this? Team Honda mechanic Mike Gosler's son checking out a Kawasaki?
Oh, if Mike taught him right, he'll get him to loosen that spark plug tab or take the air out of the tire.
Welcome back, everyone, to Washougal, Washington. Art Ekman and David Bailey. David, it's obvious that Jeremy McGrath is not all the way back. His points lead now has been shaved to 11.
And that's not enough. I remember coming here in 1986 in a battle with Rick Johnson for the 500 title. I only led by 7, and you're nervous. You ride a little different. You feel a lot different on the starting line, and for Jeremy, he's not 100%. Even if his body was better, his foot was more like 90%. He hasn't been able to ride all week, so things are really different for him. Plus, Emmett keeps getting the whole shot.
And to see him go down twice in the same turn.
Right. Well, it's his left foot that's bothering him. There's a left-hand corner that's kind of rutted and a little tricky, and it really cost him. He's too tentative in those sections.
Even without Jeremy McGrath up there banging bars with him, Emig had no cakewalk at all. I mean, Albertine really gave him a challenge.
Well, I thought that he did what he needed to do, got the whole shot and established a fast pace, but then here comes Albertine riding like the wind, and he's been a lot more confident and a little smarter lately, but kind of surprised me that he got caught in the fence there and went down later in that moto.
LaRocco was able to take advantage of the situation.
Well, LaRocco, everything's been looking great for Suzuki, and now LaRocco's in a position to win an overall here today if he can get it together in the second moto.
For a check on Albertine's condition, let's go to Davey Coombs.
Greg, you had second wrapped up, half a lap to go. What happened?
Man, I did something really stupid. I mean, I had a great race. Jeff and I were going well. My Suzuki was just going fantastically out there. And 200 meters to go, I came around the one turn and my rear wheel washed out. And instead of going over the jump, I jumped off the side of the track and got my bike caught into some fencing. So it took forever to get out and ended up finishing 8th. So I'm really not too happy at myself right now.
Your boss, Roger Acosta, told us it might have been caused by a rock that you caught on your arm earlier in the lap.
Well, 3 laps before that, I got hit up the hill from Emmig's bike, and I was really battling to hold on the last 4 laps. My arm was starting to swell up, and I was battling to hang on.
Yeah. Other than that, how do you feel about the second moto? You think you'll be able to ride?
Yeah, and I'm going to be out there, and I'm going to go for the win. I didn't do it the first moto. Jeff and I had a great race, but second moto, I'm going to be out there again.
Most of the other riders with their uniforms on already, surveying the gate. You see Ryan Hughes stamping the ground as Doug Henry also looking at his position. What do you look for when you're looking down there?
Well, you want to get that rut that develops when the guys gas it out of there and dig all the dirt away. You want to fill that back up with dirt so it's level with the gates. You don't have to climb up over the gate. In most cases, you guys tend to build up the back a little bit so the bike actually is rolling down into the gate. Some guys hold the front brake too, so they don't roll into the gate. Just to be sure that you don't wheelie coming off the line.
Skip Norfolk very quiet now, giving his last-minute instructions to Jeremy McGrath.
Once again, those guys start right next to each other. Seems like they do that about every week. Emmig's been getting the better into the stick, though, by the time they get to the first corner. We'll see if that holds true again.
One of Jeff Emmig's big advantages lately has been getting that hole shot as the 32nd board goes sideways, and we're off. Moto number 2. Emmig, not that great a start. Oh, we've got a new man out front. It is Rich Taylor, number 48. Amaradio, number 30.
Amaradio getting all out of control, going across in front of Henry. Watered the track a little bit and prepped it before the start. Guys getting squirrely there.
Oh, Taylor almost lost it. He did a Superman act right there. It's Taylor, Ward, Henry, Amaradio, LaRocco, all in front of the points leader.
Taylor's a good rider, but he's not the kind of guy that gets the hole shot very often. He's probably a little surprised with himself. Kind of did a little trick ride in there, but he stayed on it.
Rich Taylor, number 48, his best overall finish on the year, a 10th place. In fact, he's done that 3 times. There goes Hughes, number 5, LaRocco, and Emmig. And here we see Jeremy McGrath. So they're embedded back in the pack.
Pretty far back, and somebody going down right there, Art.
Jeff DeMett, number 33. He's been out most of the season with injury out of Houston, Texas.
See how hard it is to see. And also Greg Albertine just came by in dead last. So something must have happened to him in the first corner. You can see the dust kicks up. It's not that the track isn't prepared right. It's just that many bikes going by kicks it all up. It's hard to see the ground, and that's what happens. Looks like that's going to be the end of the day for DeMint.
DeMint not moving off the track, even though he's alert. Rich Taylor, still our leader.
Doug Henry, much better start this time. Didn't see any of him or Larry Ward in the first moto. These guys duking it out behind Rich Taylor right now.
Boy, look at the great speed they get in that downhill jump and then have to brake for that turn to the left.
Rich Taylor does a lot of testing for Honda.
And he's worked with us in the booth once in Supercross when he was out of action there.
He knows his stuff out there. Look at that.
Whoa!
Laying it over. He's pretty excited with this hole shot. Interesting to see how long he can hang on to it. I think a little longer since some of the heavy favorites aren't right up there to battle with him. So.
Larry Ward now closing in. Second place, Larry Ward.
Larry Ward's another one of the riders on the circuit that's been putting in some really strong second moto rides. Didn't see much up in the first moto, but he's looking strong here, and judging from the competition around him, he's got a good shot at winning this moto.
His best overall finish, a 3rd at Troy, Ohio, right in front of his sponsors, that's for sure, Honda of Troy. He had a 6.2 on that particular day. His second place, his best moto finish on the year. He had a string of 3 excellent races. We'll see if he can hold on. Taylor in first place, though. We'll be back with more in a moment. Welcome back to Washougal in our second moto for the 250s. Rich Taylor still in the lead, but look at Larry Ward right on the back bumper.
He can smell the lead of this race. It's right there. I think Larry Ward feels he's a little quicker than Rich Taylor. At least...
Oh! Larry Ward slipping out. Doug Henry moving into second place immediately.
He's up pretty quick.
And there's Emmig in the picture.
Yeah, you can see what happens, though, when you go down early in the race. Everybody goes by. If they're a little strung out, you probably only lost 1 or 2 positions.
Rich Taylor, and he face plants right in the middle of things. So Henry, all of a sudden, in a matter of like 20 seconds, is our new leader. There's McGrath going through.
Yeah, Taylor must have knocked himself out. Let's see if we can figure out what happened. He's coming through that berm. The back wheel kicks. Looked like he just hit his chin right on the ground, like a knockout punch. He's not moving right now.
Now, at least he's in a good spot where the riders can see him. Doug Henry, our leader. Amaradio, number 30, in second. But look who's in third. The very fast Mike LaRocco. LaRocco coming off a fine first moto. Here's Doug Henry.
This could be a good run for Henry. Make up for that 11th in the first moto. But looking at LaRocco and where he's positioned, if you look back behind him, there's Emmig. If LaRocco beats Emmig in this moto and they finish high enough up, LaRocco could get the overall today.
Uh-oh, Brian Swank is also down. The second moto is really taking the numbers. Jimmy Button and Ryan Hughes gets pinned against the tree.
Wow, he took it in the shoulder. That bank has gotten deeper each year. Let's see if we get another look. Watch Ryan, he's going to hit his shoulder like that. Well, I don't think he hit his shoulder, but it definitely got a handlebar jabbed in his stomach. He didn't have any room to go, and hope he's okay.
Well, after a 4th place finish in the first moto, too, he cannot help Jeff Emmig in this particular moto. That's probably the biggest factor.
Well, they need all the points they can get. Any Kawasaki they can talk into finishing between Emig and McGrath. It's going to help in the long run. He won't be in the picture this time.
Okay, we've got the great battle underway. Larry Ward makes the pass on Larocco with Emig right behind. Oh, great competition here in the second moto. Ward almost went off the back end.
Well, that took a lot of strength, too. As he came over that tunnel jump, Larry Ward jumped all the way out to the flat.
A bobble by Larocco in the turn. Oh, this is going to be a great battle as they go into the woods. Larry Ward in second place. Out in front, Doug Henry, Mike Larocco, Emig, McGrath, and Amaratio, your order.
The heavy favorites, Larocco, Emig, McGrath, all right there. They're starting to work their way up quick.
Larocco, the inside line.
It's shaping up to be a great race.
This has not been a good day for Ryan Hughes, as we see him moving over toward the mechanics area now.
Something
Like
hanging off his front brake. Yeah, that's the front brake caliper. No front brake, though. That could get in the spokes. Not sure if that's the only reason he's pulling over. Looked like he took a good shot when he went down.
Wyatt Seals assessing the situation now in the pits as Larry Ward has Mike Larocco to contend with, and Jeff Emig after Larocco.
The track's a lot tougher. This moto is starting to dry out in places. Now those rocks you mentioned, or lack of them, they are starting to come up, getting slick, and then the places where it was getting a little choppy, it's a lot worse this time.
Good battle underway for second place. Larry Ward and Mike Larocco, as they were bar to bar there for one moment during this race. Davey Coombs now is assessing the situation as far as Ryan Hughes is concerned. Let's go down to Davey now in the mechanics area.
All right, we're down here with Wyatt Seals. Wyatt, what happened? What do you got in your hand?
Well, it's the front caliper, so obviously he collided with somebody. I heard him say something about button, and it just broke the mounts off, so the thing was dangling when he came in, so I just cut it off. It's the only thing I could do.
Yeah. He's going to try and put in some laps now?
Yeah, see what happens. Just ride a few, see how he feels.
All right, tough break.
Yep, happens.
Little play on words there, Davey. Tough break. David, what's it like without a front brake?
Well, you imagine taking the front brakes off a car. You apply the brakes, they're going to skid around, so it's going to be hard for him to keep installing it and keep control and drive into the corners deep. So it won't be much of a factor from here on out.
We've got a great race going on right now as Doug Henry is our leader, but real close. Larry Ward, Mike Larocco, Jeff Emig, all together, and Jeremy McGrath moving up to fifth. Here in Washougal, Jeff Emig has already cut Jeremy McGrath's lead in the points race down to 11 after the first moto. He's got a good opportunity. Whoa, Jeremy McGrath, who had moved up to fifth place, has gone down, and he doesn't look in good shape, David.
Well, he's already limping on that bad foot. He's torn the boot buckle loose on his left boot. I think that's just a slippery area right there, and it's kind of a little plateau as you're making that left-hand turn. And
oh, he looks stiff and sore right now, and he's not getting back up to speed. He's not looking to get back into the race.
No, if he keeps riding around like that, it won't take long for him to drop out of the top 20. That'll be no points, and no point in staying out there. So looks like problems have even gotten worse for Jeremy. He's already got an injury to deal with. He may have another one now.
So now the prospects of Jeff Emig, should he move up the ladder any further, maybe taking over the points lead, have improved drastically.
Well, he'll be happy to see that on the pit board when he comes around and realizes, because I think Jeremy was back behind him. He may not even know yet that Jeremy's gone down. That's going to put a little smile on his face. I know he wants to beat him fair and square. You always do, but still, it moves you that much closer to the title.
Jeremy McGrath slowing down toward the mechanics area. Uh-oh. The McGrath went into those backwoods. In fifth place, the points leader, emerging a rather battled warrior. Let's go down to Davey.
We're not sure what's happening, but it looks like Jeremy's decided to pack it in here in the second load. This might cost him the championship. If Emig can move up and get 25 more points, it's going to give him a 12-point lead going the last 4 motos. We're going to try and get a word with either Wes McCoy or if we can't skip Norfolk as soon as we get a chance.
Okay, Davey, stay with it. A DNF here would be just disastrous for Jeremy McGrath's title hopes, and he's out of the race, Davey.
Wes, we just saw your rider pull in the pits. Anything?
He just came in. He obviously crashed back in the wood section, and he's got dirt on his shoulder and his leg, and he's holding his shoulder, so he says he's hurt. He's going back to the truck. Done for the day.
But the ankle, no further damage to that?
No problems with the ankle or his finger that he injured earlier in the first moto. No, it doesn't seem to be a problem. He seems to be hurt. He's never been hurt like this before, so we're going to run back there and take a look at him.
So the complexion of this season is changing drastically here at Washougal. But Jeff Emig now in a great position to possibly take over the points lead before this afternoon is over. Henry in first place, Larry Ward in second, Mike LaRocco in third, and Jeff Emig in fourth.
No, I mean, I don't even think it's that necessary that he picks up the points lead. Let's just say he pulls up even or even within 2 or 3 points. It would still be looking very good for Jeff Emig in the weeks to come. In 2 more weeks, and Jeremy's hurt maybe even worse now. So he wouldn't be much of a factor in the next 2 rounds.
And how important it is for Doug Henry out front. Can he last this moto for a possible first win on the season in his comeback year after that broken back last year? He said all along, hey, I could win one before the season ends. I'm not sure a lot of people took him serious, though.
No, but he believes in himself. He's going to get a chance to prove it right here, but he's going to have to hurry it up because LaRocco and Emig are back there coming strong, and Larry Ward has picked up the pace.
You got some fast riders behind Doug Henry, our leader, that's for sure. Let's check back with Davey Coombs now with a McGrath update. Davey.
Well, the second moto is closing down up over the hill. We're down here in the pits by Jeremy McGrath, waiting to see what the status is of his injuries. As you can see from the handlebars of his motorcycle, the clutch lever's bent down. It looks like he went over the handlebars. We're going to see if we can't get a word with him here shortly.
What a difference 2 events make. 47-point lead after winning the overall at Troy. Jeremy McGrath is now a date. Look at Larry Ward, bar to bar with Doug Henry. This is for the lead.
Larry Ward continues to use that line over the tunnel jump. He jumps completely, out jumps, goes all the way out onto the flat. That's like jumping off your house.
Oh, boy.
And it almost worked that time.
Says a lot for the Honda suspension.
Oh, it's a big impact, and that's going to take its toll if he keeps doing it. But, you know, it's worth it if he can make that pass, because right now it looks like he may be just a little bit quicker than Henry.
And, of course, this side-by-side battle of Larry Ward and Doug Henry really brings the crowd alive, because Larry Ward is a native Washingtonian. He grew up near the Seattle area.
And I think they're just as equal pulling for Doug Henry, too.
I think so, too, yes, because they're knowledgeable of the fact of that tremendous rehabilitation and the medical miracle that's got him back on the track.
Anybody that's ever had any kind of a serious injury or a back injury or that kind of an operation, and to see what Doug's done is a real inspiration.
Boy, without McGrath in this lineup, this is incredible racing, though. 4 riders going for the win here in Moto number 2 at Washougal. And a battle for second place is on now behind Henry as LaRocco really challenging Larry Ward.
Emig's just sitting right there, just watching it all, seeing how it's going to shake out, hoping these guys will go down. He won't have to pass them.
LaRocco making the move on the inside is in second place now. Well, don't write it down for too long. Don't put it in ink. It's going to change, I have a feeling.
And Emig up that long uphill, tucking right between Larry Ward and LaRocco, trying to stay out of that roost. I can tell you it hurts. He's got 4 guys tossing it at him.
LaRocco right now is looking at a possible first overall win of the season. And Albertine is down again. At least this time he doesn't have a fence to go over to get back on the track, David.
Well, that's the good news. The bad news is this is the second time. I don't know what happened to him in the first corner. It was out of our view, but he's the nicest guy. He's so fast, and you know, if he just made a little bit better decisions, think where he'd be, because he was second in the first moto till that crash there. If we were to put him in an overall position.
One thing he has proved this year is that the Suzuki 250 bike is light years beyond what it was last year.
Yeah, the bike has definitely come a long way. Roger's done a good job with that team. And LaRocco is proving it as well, because now if he can hang on to stay where he's at, stay ahead of Emig, he'll win the overall. That'll be 2 guys on Suzuki this year to win the National, which is real good news for that team and heading into next year.
Boy, look at how this final moto of the day is setting up, though. We've got 3 riders. Any one of them could win this race. And it would be the first moto win of the season for any one of the 3. All this excitement without Jeremy McGrath. Let's check in once again with Davey to see how things are going.
Jeremy, can you tell us what happened out there?
Well, it was just, I don't know, just bad luck today, you know. Felt like my foot was a little bit better. Second moto, I was riding a little better, and went up that jump right behind Emig, and I hit neutral. So, you know, I went over on my head and smashed my hip and kind of made my leg a little bit sore again. So, you know, by the time I got up, I was getting up really slow, and I just kind of pulled off.
Up over the hill behind us, it sounds like LaRocco and Henry are holding off Emig. It sounds like in points you guys might be within about half dozen, 10 points. How do you feel about the next 2 weeks?
Well, I just need to rest a couple more days and then, you know, come back at Binghamton real strong. And I'm going to try and, you know, ride a little bit this week and try and get everything going again. And then, you know, try and come out at Binghamton with 1-1.
Well, David, an attitude we have never seen before from this young man who's ridden with bronchitis. He's ridden with the flu. He's ridden with chicken pox, but he's never really had this kind of distraction before.
And you can see it in his face. You can see it in his eyes. He knows this is serious. He has nothing he can do about it. The points lead might be taken away from him while he's sidelined.
Meanwhile, out in front, Mike LaRocco edges in front of Henry momentarily, going into those trees. Oh, my goodness. Bar to bar, these two battling it out for the lead. What great racing action we've had all afternoon, but this has got to top them all.
I've never seen anything quite that close. They're fourth gear wide open up that hill, locking elbows. Larry Ward's back there just watching the whole thing. He might get a gift if these guys keep that up. That was a scary moment.
Ooh. LaRocco, lots of action in the backside.
Track's getting rough up in there. That's where Ryan Hughes went down. Starting to get rough. That's the line that Bradshaw had the first moto where he made his pass.
So it's still Doug Henry, our leader, but don't bet on it. LaRocco and Ward are knocking at the door. We'll be back. Of AMA Motocross is being brought to you by the reigning Supercross 125 and 250 outdoor champions, Honda. Come ride with us. One of the most exciting finishes we've seen, not just this year, but in many years, here in Moto 2 of the 250s. Doug Henry out in front. The fans very knowledgeable here in the Pacific Northwest. This is the only national they have. They know this would be one of the big emotional moments of this man's career. His first moto victory, should he hold on against Mike LaRocco. And LaRocco, of course, never satisfied with second, even though the overall trophy is at stake here in the final lap.
Well, it'd be at stake definitely if he went up and tried to make a move on Henry as he did a few laps earlier, side by side up that uphill. Both those guys could have gone down high speed, but I think Henry really proved how bad he wanted it by holding on.
Well, you can hear the roar of the fans, and you see trackside their emotional outbursts now as these riders come by. Doug Henry pulling a little lead now on Mike LaRocco.
I think Doug has really proven to himself and to everybody that he has got the physical fitness to go the distance. This is the second moto, probably the more physically demanding of the two, and he's held off all the charges. LaRocco gave it everything he had. Emick was there for a while too, Larry Ward.
What an amazing moto. A four-way battle for first place that did not involve Jeremy McGrath, and the first time I can remember Jeremy McGrath pulling off the track. Mike LaRocco still within earshot in case Henry should go down, but it's coming down to the final turn right now for Doug Henry. What a moment for this young man from Massachusetts.
He's pumped. Look at him. He is so happy. The whole Yamaha crew, and even some of the other teams look like they're happy for Doug.
What a great victory for Doug Henry here in Moto 2. Mike LaRocco will be our overall winner. Larry Ward in third place with Jeff Emick and Floyd. And as we check out the top 10, I wonder if Henry can wipe the smile off his face to talk. Davey?
All right, Doug Henry, welcome back.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
It's been a year, a couple months since the injury. You finally got a win. How's it feel?
It feels really good. It was real tough out there. I mean, I got a good start. A couple guys fell in front of me, and I kind of inherited the lead and just kind of tried to ride my own race. It's something I haven't really done. You know, this whole season was trying to put everybody else aside and just focus on what I need to do. And I worked with a guy, Jim Delzer, this week to kind of help me out with focusing on what I need to do. And, you know, that's what I really been needing to do. And I just hope I could keep that, you know, that focus.
Right. How good it feel to win a race for your new family?
It's great. I mean, I came back and Stacey and Brandon were so happy. It was just, I couldn't believe it. The crowd out there was doing so good, I swear. You know, I mean, I felt so good being out front, just seeing everybody out there waving their shirts and yelling and screaming. It just kept pushing me. I just kept saying to myself, one more lap, one more lap, one more lap, the whole time.
It's good to have you back.
Thanks a lot. Good to see you.
So the first moto win in a comeback year has got to set a great tone for next season for Doug Henry. Mike LaRocco, our overall winner. Davey's with him now.
Mike, congratulations. Finally got a win on the Suzuki.
Yeah, it was a long time coming. last few weeks I've been feeling better, a lot better on my bike, but you know, I had a little shoulder injury at Millville, but bike's been working good, and I'd like to got that win tonight, but Doug, he was all over the place. I couldn't get around him.
Yeah, that was just an amazing battle with Doug Henry.
Yeah, he put up a good fight. I was wanting to get around him because I don't like winning with second, but you know, I'll start off that way and hopefully take it from there.
All right, well, congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Larocco's first Suzuki overall victory. Bradshaw, quiet and effective third place on the podium. But it's Jeff Emig now with the 8-point lead. Davey?
4 motos ago, you were 46 points behind Jeremy McGrath. Now you got the points lead. How's that make you feel?
Oh, I didn't know that. It makes me feel pretty good, I guess. You know, there's still a couple races left, and it's still, you know, it's still up for grabs. I'm still going to have to win the motos, you know, to win a championship. So, but I mean, I've been down that many points before. It always seems like, you know, every time I'm in a championship race, it happens, you know, in the last couple of races. It makes it real exciting for the fans. So, but I'm real happy. You know, it's okay. I really would have liked to have won today, but I'll work hard this week and try to get it the next couple.